Hey everybody, welcome to Live Coding with Jesse. I'm Jesse, and today's going to be a short stream because I have somewhere to be in less than an hour. So we're going to try to do one Pomodoro session of code, and also my camera keeps cutting out. So I may just switch to my screen, and if the camera cuts out, I'll let it cut out. Usually when this happens, I can bring it back for a couple minutes, but if I really want it to work for longer than a few minutes, I have to completely restart my computer, which I don't have time to do right now. I do want to say, I want to give you all an update on this project very quickly first, and then I'm going to let you know what we're going to do today. Then we'll start the timer. We'll get one Pomodoro session in, and then do questions after that. So the project now officially has a deadline. We have a launch date. So this is not a hard launch date. It's a self-imposed launch date. So we're not going to get in trouble if we don't hit the date, but I'd like to go for June 4th. So it's the first Monday in June. I'd rather launch on a Monday, and then that way I have all week in case anything goes wrong to work on. We were going to go for June 1st, but that's a Friday, and that's the worst day to try to launch something. So that gives us about 7 weeks. So there's going to be other things that come up during that time, so I can't spend every single day of those 7 weeks. I'm also going to probably go to a conference at some point between now and then, so that's going to take a few days. But I've broken things down, and I haven't typed these up yet. They're just written on a notepad, so I'm going to break it down really quickly. I'd like to, within the next week, fix some things with the menu to include all the links, and that's what we're going to start doing today. And then I'd like to take another week and connect the search inputs in the app bar and in the side nav to the actual search function, and then clean up that search with the few remaining things that we needed to do. Then for the next 3 weeks, I just want to bring data over so that we have all the data there. I'm not going to work as much on making it look nice yet. We're going to save that for the end, and then get all the routes working so that if you go to one of the old URLs, it will take you to the new page. And then whatever time is left, we need to set up the WordPress installation. I want to make sure that that's on a server that can handle the load that it's likely to get. So we'll do a week for that. That leaves us with about a week left for anything else that comes up. So it's going to be tight, but I overestimated how long I think these things will take. So realistically, I'm expecting to have more than 1 week. So we'll see how it goes, but that's the timeline for right now. And the bulk of that is transferring data over. So I'm not going to do that on the stream because that's just boring. It's just me going through a spreadsheet, double checking URLs. I'm hoping to get some help from student workers in kind of going through data and cleaning things up. So hopefully I can get some help with that, and that should help. I want other people double checking that we've successfully migrated the content and that all the links still work. Also today I have McDonald's coffee, so anybody from McDonald's, if you're watching, you could sponsor me with free coffee, and then I'll tell everybody every day that I drink McDonald's coffee. So let's see. Alright, so let's switch over now and we'll get to it. Well, let me show you what I want to do first, obviously. Okay, so here's what's going to happen for this stream. Rohit asked if that was the dollar size coffee. Yeah, it is. So, this is the large, but the small, medium, and large coffees are all $1. So, obviously, I'm going to buy the large, right? Even if I don't really need that much coffee, I'm gonna buy the large and just drink it anyway. Right now, I really love the McDonald's app, and I keep trying to find the best deals. So I try to figure out what combination of coupons will get me the most food for the least amount of money. So on this particular page, we have this side menu. So these menu items do not appear in our main menu up at the top, which we've moved to the side nav. All right, so my camera cut out. I'm just going to leave it out. Let's see. So we need to put these somewhere. So there are two places where we're going to put them. So for both mobile and desktop, we're going to take, let me bring this over. I'll just open it up because I don't know where I put it. So let's open up localhost. And actually, I can start ngrok for this as well. So let's start ngrok. And let me paste this for you all. You can check out the project as we're working on it with this ngrok link. If the link doesn't work for you right away, then try copying and pasting the link instead of clicking it, and then that usually works. All right, so feel free to click around or do whatever, inspect it. So basically, right now, we have this menu here. It's just like one level deep. So we have these main categories, and that's it. You can't go any farther. But really, all of these options here have, I shouldn't say all of them, most of them have submenus. So what I'd like to do is make it possible for these items to also be opened up and have that submenu items displayed. It's going to be a little tricky in terms of indentation because we're going to start running out of space. But we'll just see how it looks. We could afford to make this navigation menu a bit wider if we need to. So that's what we're going to do today. We're going to try to make these submenu items have the possibility of having submenus themselves. Also, and this is we're not going to get to this today, but what I'd also like to do is on certain pages. So let's find one. So like on desktop, we'll make a floating nav here that just kind of scrolls with the user that would have menu items. We've done something similar to this in React with Material UI on a previous project. So we're going to look at how we did that, and this will probably be in a stream tomorrow or some other day this week. So anyway, so that'll just have like an extra for the desktop that we don't really have room for on mobile. But I think it will be very helpful for a user to not have to go back into this menu. Anyway, so that's the idea. If anybody has any thoughts on that, put them in the live chat. I'm going to start up the timer, and let's get to work. And where are we at? I have this. Okay, DrawerItem is where we want to be. Let me make sure that I have the most up-to-date stuff. All right, cool. So did it get pulled? It's up to date. And let me make this a bit bigger. All right, that might be too big. Okay. So here is, let's hide this. I'll pull this over. Okay, so right now we're just dealing with DrawerItem for now. We're going to need to edit some of the data so that we can support this functionality. So I think we already have everything that we need with the expansion. And so let's see, what do we have? Button click expand item. Okay, yeah, so right now we're already doing this expand item on click. So what we need to do then, interesting. Okay, I do want to keep these as links, so let's try. So you have a list and then a link and then the list item inside of here. Okay. All right, here's one of the problems that I'm thinking of. So these are actually pages. They are links. So we want these to be clickable. So, and I'm open to suggestions on this. Do we want to have a little icon here that is separate, so that if you click here, it's still a link, but if you click on this icon, it actually drops down the menu? Or should we just make the first item in each submenu be the link, and these themselves are not actually links? Let me know if you don't understand what I'm saying, or what you think about this, because we'll definitely need to decide. I think what would make the most sense. I don't know what users will expect. So I mean, some of these won't have the link, so it is going to have the behavior that you can click it and it is a link. So users will probably expect that all of them have that behavior. So I'm thinking maybe like a clearly defined button here with maybe a vertical border to separate it out. But we're definitely going to need to change the way things work in here. Let me submenu items map. All right, so what we're going to need then is a ternary to check to see if the submenu items have submenu items, right? Aaron says, couldn't the submenus be drawers? They could be drawers, but I'm just wondering, on mobile, is there enough space for that? Originally, I wanted them to be extra drawer that like came out on the side here, and then I realized, obviously, that there's no space on mobile for that to happen. So we can at least start with the ternary, because we're going to need this no matter what, really. Let's go with... Just trying to think what I want to call this. The hardest part of coding, figuring out what to name things. So I guess some menu if item dot submenu. If item dot submenu, then we're going to do whatever we're going to do here. So for now, I'll just put, well, let me copy this. Let me do a div first. Div. Okay, so what I will be doing here is just making 2 of these. Alright, so here's what we have, and I probably messed this up. How did I mess this up? Oh. I'm returning things automatically, and this should not be. Is that how I do it? Or not? So if we have a submenu item, then we want to return, else we want to return that. No. Why is my mind blanking? We've done this on the stream so many times. What am I missing? I mean, do I need parens? Alright, so menu item. And then within. Okay, so that within there. Put a return before the condition. Okay. And then actually do I need that return? Can I switch this back to what we had? I should be able to switch it back to what we had now that I think about it. I might just have to go to another component and see how we did it. My mind is blanking. Oh, this is so silly. This they did it, line, this they did it, okay. Alright, I guess I didn't use that exactly in there. Maybe I don't need that. Is that my problem? Okay, so I'm going to submenu. Wait a second. I should still need this. Alright, let me. My indentation is crazy for this, and it's not auto formatting, probably because of the errors. Alright, so where am I at? So this should be fine. Or we're gonna do this link. I'm not sure why. Why am I getting this? There we go. I was missing a paren. Alright, cool. Does that ever happen to anybody's? Like, you go to do something you've done a million times before, and then you just can't remember the syntax. Okay, so what we should get then is if our data... let me double check and make sure I didn't break this first. Now that okay, not broken. Excellent. Okay, so right now none of our data has submenu, so it's going to this, which is what we've already had. So it still looks the same, which is exactly what we want. So now we want to add in something extra if there is a submenu for that piece of data, for that item, so that we know this is actually working. So for now, I'm just going to add in, I don't know, I'm going to add this in, and this should be pretty ugly if we add it. And interesting. Where are we at? I know I have the data up here somewhere, so pretty much never close it. Drawer menu, yes, here's the data. We'll move it over here so we can see them both at the same time. So let's grab, let's just use this first one. It'll be easy. So on the About menu, is that our first one? Yeah. Under Academically Excellent, we're going to add submenu, and we'll just say true for now. If I could spell UE, and need to add that. So submenu is true. What we're going to need to do is actually put a submenu. So submenu itself is going to be an object. It's going to be an array of objects. But for now, we'll just do true. And what this should do is make this messed up. No? Maybe I'll refresh it just to be sure. Did I misspell it? I did. Submenu. There we go. There we are. Okay, so all the rest of them work, you know, just like they should work. And then now, under Academically Excellent, we have submenu, right? Okay, so this just proves that it works. Now we can actually create, you know, something, a little icon or whatever we want at this point. So let's work on, let's work on that. Okay. Yeah, let's work on getting that icon there for now. Oh, this is the wrong project. I'm looking at that like, what is going on? Different project. Okay, so let's go in here and see. Actually, let's go in DevTools in Chrome first. So I just want to see like what's going on, what kind of styles are already there. So what would be the best way to modify this? So what I'm going to try to keep this clickable as a link, and then add in something like this that is not part of the link. So the actual A here, which the A tag is, let's see what it styles are here. All right, let's just mess around and give it, see what we can make it do. Nope. Maybe this is where I need to put it on this div. Alright, let's see. Nope. Why is my... Let me check my time. I think I'm running out of time. If I can find my timer, it's back here. Alright, 6 minutes. Okay. Oops. Grabbed the wrong... Oh, y'all can't see me anyway. I was... I went to drink out of the wrong coffee cup. Okay. What is going on in here that I can't put these in different... Actually, I mean, I guess I could use grid. I could use the grid to make this happen. I probably should do that. It'd be better to just use what's built in. Okay. I'm gonna have to import grid, which did we already have the grid imported here? Whoops, I mean on the search. There we go. Alright, let's see how we did this. So grid container, grid item. So let's just grab this. So we have it, and yeah, this should work. So if we're gonna have submenu items, we're gonna change this. This div is gonna be our grid container, and then we'll have a grid item within there. This is our grid, and then this is the grid here, and then we're going to make another grid item for our submenu icon part. So for this, 9 and 3, let's try 9 and 3. And now we may not have to do any custom alignment at all if this works. Whoa, this module fits in the course. Guess I forgot to close something. Yep. And the grid system that we're using comes with Material UI. So some of these components are components that we created, and then other components are components that we've gotten from Material UI. All right, cool. So we do have this this positioning here. Let me refresh just to make sure any styles that we had are gone. Okay, so right now this is extending past here, which is, it's okay because we're not going to have an actual word here. It's just going to be one icon. Okay, so I mean, unfortunately, this forces this onto 2 lines. It's not the end of the world. We could definitely mess with the indentation a bit to try to make this give us some more space. The icon, I think, definitely, I don't think it really needs that much space, really. So we could, I think we have more padding than we need. Yeah. Let me just, let's see what we want here. So we do border left. Let's go with 2 pixels, solid, and what are we gonna go with? RGBA 0.54. I think actually I want this to be thinner and lighter. Let's go 1.4. There we go. Okay, so we'll probably have a divider here so that this is clickable, and we'll also take away this padding. Padding right is going to be 0. Let's make sure that that's applied. Okay, padding right 0, and then that way when we hover over it, it'll go directly up to here. So padding right 0. Oh, that extends down below. I don't like that. What if... Yeah, you know what? We're gonna have to make that border appear on this div. It's just gonna have to be within here. Otherwise, it's gonna look weird when we hover. Okay, so my timer's up, but basically, this is what is gonna happen now. In terms of style, right? It'll basically be an icon like this over here, and so they'll be divided, but when you click on this icon, there'll be another set of items that show up, which will be maybe slightly more indented, probably the same color though. I don't know that I can go that much lighter. I could potentially go with a slightly thinner font and see how that works, just to add like another visual indication of hierarchy in the menu items. But that's what we're going to do. So the way we would do that then is add into our data. Under submenu, instead of true, we would add an array of objects that would look exactly like this. And that's what would populate another submenu. So in the same way that we're looping through submenu items here, that we're mapping over them, we would have another map within this portion for a submenu. So we would have like a collapse, right? and then we have a whole nother sub menu. So that's what needs to be done for this to be finished. I may save this and finish it in a stream tomorrow. I mean, I do have a lot of data to be transferred over that I could do not on the stream. So maybe I'll save it. Let me know in the chat if you would like to see how we would finish this component. And you know, if it's something you want to see, then I'll definitely hold off on finishing it until the next live stream. And if you're watching this later and you can't participate in the live chat, let me know in the comments, please. All right, so that's what we have so far. Let's. Oh, I just want to do a git status. Okay. Status. Okay. Normally I wouldn't commit at this point because it's only like half finished, but I want this to be available to all of you to be able to check out what we've done so far. So that's why I'm going to commit this as is. So the link to this repository is in the description. It's available for you to take any of the code, use it for whatever you need to use it for. If you want to submit pull requests, that's awesome as well. Let's see, add a new feature. Okay, scope of this change. Add. Let's do add. Submenus for submenu items. Okay. No breaking changes, and I don't believe we have any open issues dealing with this. I may have them, but I'm in a hurry right now, so. Alright, so I'm going to scroll all the way up to the top of the live chat and answer as many questions as I can. I think, based on what's in the live chat now, there shouldn't be a problem in getting to everyone's questions today. Alright, great. That worked. Passed all the tests. Awesome. Now we'll do a git push. There we are. Awesome. Alright, so now all this code is available to you all to do whatever you want to with. Alright, so a lot of people saying hi. Hey, everyone. She says, you are the most starred Git repo holders. Oh, it really is the freeCodeCamp repo the most starred? That's awesome. Let's see. The MenuCast says, you really need the best deals with your salary? Yeah, unfortunately I do. Yeah, I mean, realistically, if you save a few, like, let's say I can get the food for half of what it is. So, I don't know, like, instead of $5, it would be $2.50. That adds up. I mean, I don't go every day, but let's say I go twice a week. I save $5 a week. Let's say there's 4 weeks in a month. That's $20 a month. That's over $200 a year. And that's just for McDonald's. So, I mean, you can see if I do the same thing at the grocery store or at other restaurants or everything, that's, it doesn't sound like a lot, I guess, but still, that's money that could go towards something for my kids or my wife, or, just saving it for, an emergency. I mean, I'm not saying that I'm poor or anything, right? I think I can pay all my bills, and so I'm thankful for that. But I'm not at the point where I can just say, forget it, I don't need coupons. Let's see. SomeKit says, can we use styled components for styling all our components? Yeah, I mean, you can. Normally, like for what we're doing in this project, there are some situations that we can't use it. Eventually, though, I would like it to get to the point where we can use like React, like in component styles for everything. It's just going to take a while to get the data to the point where that's going to, be doable. So that's the goal. I think, if we really work at it, we could get there, by the end of this year. But I know already my boss is talking about the next like 2 projects that I'll be working on after this one. So I think it's going to be harder for me to justify keep working on this project when it's already launched, especially if it launches well and there's no issues. It's trying to make the argument that like, hey, it'd be really cool if we could clean up this data. It's going to be a little tougher. So I really do hope it happens, but it's going to be something that happens just a little bit at a time. California Boy says, because of the small screen on mobile, you should have defined buttons. I'm not sure what you mean. I mean, I'm assuming like we're gonna have buttons in terms of like an icon on the side there for the menu items. So I guess we are doing that. Okay, Yusuf says maybe on mobile the new drawer could just replace the old drawer. That's actually an option. I hadn't thought about that, but that's a legitimate option. If what we're going to try to do now ends up just not looking good or being confusing, then we may try to do that. So I think that's a good idea, Yusuf. Thank you. Oh, Aaron says you could show a menu history at the top. Yeah, actually, these are all really good ideas. I'm definitely going to have to consider these as an alternative. Puya says, am I the only one who finds JavaScript frameworks like Angular or React very difficult? After how many years you started working with one? I find them difficult at first. I mean, I've only been working with React for about a year, maybe a year and a few months, and I'm very comfortable with it now. I mean, I would not say I'm an expert at all, but I don't find it difficult. So, but at first I did. And when I first worked with Angular, I found it difficult. Now, I didn't stick with Angular, so it's probably still difficult for me if I would try it. But I think it's just, like any new thing, it's going to be difficult at first. And some frameworks just take longer to get comfortable with than others. I mean, I think that's just the way it is with any new framework. It's actually weird doing the stream without the camera like on my face, because now I'm like I don't have to think about it. Normally I have to think like, all right, don't do anything weird on camera, but and I have to think like, okay, I need to make sure my face is actually in the camera. But now like I can sit like really slouched down in my chair and lean back. Anyway, let me keep going. I'm almost through the live chat now. Let me check the time. Okay, good. This is I'm gonna have to end things at like 10 minutes at the most. Let's see. Ian, sorry, not Ian. Oh, I see. Ian was responding to my question. So I had asked if anyone else had the issue where you try to do something that you've done a million times before, and like for some reason you just can't remember the syntax, and so Ian says all the time, thanks for that. I'm glad I'm not the only one. Jacob says Mac or Windows for programming. Yusuf says Mac or Linux. Honestly, I really do like Mac for programming. I haven't used a Linux as an like a desktop operating system. I haven't used Linux. I've used it on servers though, and I like it. So I'm kind of used to Linux and Mac right now. I used to program, like for years I programmed on Windows machine. So there are pros and cons, I think, to everything. But right now I do really like programming on a Mac. So I don't know that I could give a great answer for it. Jacobs has been wanting to learn HTML and CSS, but I'm having a hard time self-teaching myself. Watching let's see, any suggestions? Yusuf says watching tutorials makes it easy for me. Jacob says, anyone know of any teachers in person? I don't want to wait for college. Yeah, that's tough. I mean, I guess you could try. So you don't have to wait for college. So I'm assuming you're maybe in high school then? It's going to be tough. So like normally you could go to a boot camp, like in person. But if you're in high school, I mean, maybe you could find a boot camp that's during like summer break from high school. And I'd say that's probably, the most likely way that you have of finding an in-person teacher. Yeah, so I would say that. Unless you can find someone in your area, like maybe like a meetup, like a web developer meetup, and see about getting like a mentor. I don't know. Anyone else have any other ideas for how Jacob can find like someone to help in person in learning HTML and CSS? Hey, Hamemi's here. How's it going? Thanks for watching. Carlos says, check the freeCodeCamp website for learning. Oh, yeah. If you haven't already tried freeCodeCamp, go to freeCodeCamp.org and start in with some of those lessons. I mean, it's still going to be like, you have to motivate yourself to do it, but... Sorry, I just yawned. But it has helped a lot of people to learn. Aimstar asked what font we're using for menu items. It's Roboto. I believe that we were using a 400 font weight right here, and the color is RGBA 000.54, which, I mean, you can see all that if you check out the repository. All right, Aaron asked if there's a stream or video to see what I did to get to this point. There are actually a lot of streams. This is the 55th stream for this project, so you can go back through and check out all those streams. It's going to be a lot. Might not be a bad idea to do a recap video. Yeah, maybe I'll have to think about doing a recap video, because 55 streams is quite a lot. Especially since almost every stream is over an hour long. I mean, that's literally days of nonstop watching to get through it. I do recommend watching old streams on like faster than normal speed. I usually talk like somewhat slowly, so you can still understand me on 2x speed. Let's see. Hamemi says, last time you said you'll be live on Monday. I know. Yesterday, and I'm sorry, I forgot to apologize for this. I know I said I'd be live on Monday. But yesterday just filled up with meetings. So since I've been working from home a lot, all my meetings I have to fit into the like 2 days that I'm at work. This week I'm actually going to be in 3 days, but so then my days fill with meetings. So I ended up like having several people over the weekend ask me for meetings. So then my schedule just got full. One meeting ended up getting canceled, so I probably could have squeezed a stream in, but it didn't. I didn't know that it got canceled until it was like really close to the meeting time. So I apologize for that. It's just, like I said, my schedule just filled up, the day before. So I mean, sometimes that happens. So I can't. I can't, say no. I can't meet with you because of the live stream. So I'm trying to be respectful about that, so that I can keep doing the live stream on campus. Andy says, "Oh, never mind." Andy was asking somebody else something in the chat. Anna asks, "Is it hard to do a dev job without experience?" There's just a lot of learning involved. So, I mean, yeah, it's hard, because starting out anything new is hard. Oh, you know what? Actually, I think I misread that. I think Anna, correct me if I'm wrong, but to get it. Oh, I see. Later on, you corrected it. Is it hard to get a dev job without experience? Yeah, it can be. A lot of places are looking for experience, but don't be afraid to apply and try to make up for that lack of experience with a really good portfolio. Even if that portfolio is just side projects that you made on your own, it really doesn't matter. If they're projects and they're functional and they're good projects, then whoever you're applying to, they can see the quality. They can see the code. They can see the project. So that's how you would make up then for the lack of experience. And then always try to get projects on the side. Even if you have to do volunteer stuff, if you can afford to take some time to do volunteer things, at least that's something you could put down, that you built this website for this company. All right, they don't need to know how much money you made off of it or if you made any money at all. So that can help convince a company that even though you don't have a lot of experience, you do know what you're doing. But I mean, I don't want to mislead. It is going to be hard. It's definitely easier if you have that experience, but it's not impossible. You just have to kind of be creative and in building up that portfolio and presenting yourself, in the right way. On your resume, like really emphasize your projects, whereas somebody else might emphasize their work experience if they had a lot. Don't worry about that on your resume. Put your projects up at the top. Impress them first, and then once they get down to the bottom and see, oh, there's not much work experience, they're already going to like you. So they're going to be way more likely to overlook the lack of work experience. Right? Does that make sense? Let's see. Andy asked, how do you structure your React projects? Right now we're using Next.js, so we really just use the folder structure that's built out with Next. Sometimes we use Create React App, so we pretty much stick with that structure. Tech Expert says, hello, I know CSS and JavaScript, HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. What should I learn next? And your choice between PHP and Node.js right now. I choose Node.js right now. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with PHP, but if you know JavaScript for front end, it's so much easier to just pick up Node. Node can do so many different things. The only disadvantage right now for Node is that a lot of cheap hosting providers don't let you use Node, but they will let you use PHP. So like if you're going to go with GoDaddy shared hosting or something, you're not, at least last time I checked, you're not going to be able to use Node. So that's really the only thing. But you know, the people that are using the cheap hosting providers like that, that's probably not where you'd want to get if you're really into coding and want to develop like cool things with Node or something like that. Like those aren't the clients that are going to have the money to pay you for something like that anyway. They're not the clients that are going to be able to pay for a lot of custom stuff. So it's not like you'd be doing a lot of custom PHP. You'd probably be setting up a WordPress site. But I go with Node. I only do PHP when I really have to, and I focus on learning Node, you know, better. So that would be my recommendation. Hamemi says, I wonder why everyone is using Roboto and Lato fonts. We use Roboto because it's in the material design specification. So, I mean, yeah, that's just what we use. I mean, I think it's a good font. I think the odds of people being familiar with it and like having it cached in their browser are pretty good as well. So, it's a free font. Raphael asks, I love the name Raphael. I named my oldest son Raphael, so awesome name. But Raphael asks, Jesse, which Mac are you using right now? I have an iMac, and I'll bring up the specs for you here. It's going to be hard to see. It's kind of small, but it's the iMac Retina 5K 27-inch late 2014. I'm running 4 gigahertz Intel Core i7 and 32 gigabytes of RAM. And I have 2 external monitors connected to it. I have the 2K 27-inch screen on one side, and then I have a 1080p screen in vertical alignment on the other side. Yusuf asked about Meteor.js. I don't know that much about Meteor. I've seen some presentations where people do really cool things with Meteor, but I don't have personal experience with it. So I guess all I know is that you can make really awesome things with Meteor.js, and that's about the extent of my knowledge of Meteor. Hey, Harshit's here. How's it going, Harshit? Ennis says, thank you for your answer. You're welcome. Hopefully that helped. And if you ever need help with like trying to get a job or resume stuff or anything, like just let me know. You know, send me a message through whatever social media, and I'd be happy to like check out your portfolio or your resume, and you know, so just let me know. Raphael says, thanks, Jesse. Yeah, no problem. Memi says, that's a lot of RAM. I know. I had 16 to start out with, and then the guy that works in the office next to me told me that he upgraded to 32, and then I was like, all right, I got to upgrade to 32. So I did. But it helps. I always have like a million tabs open in Chrome, and my computer's always fast, so it definitely helps. Let's see. Tech Expert says, where to find cool projects to practice for web dev? I mean, you can check out the projects for freeCodeCamp and practice on those. I mean, those are some pretty cool projects, like a weather app. There are some games that you can make. So, I mean, there's a lot of cool ideas for projects. So you could either like follow the instructions exactly on freeCodeCamp, or you could just let it be inspiration for you for other things that you want to do. That's freeCodeCamp.org. Raphael says, awesome setup. Thanks. I'd love to have more than 3 monitors because I used to run with 4 monitors, but you can't, like by default, you can't hook up a third monitor to an iMac. I've read that there are some ways that you can make it work, but it's not really easy. Hamemi says, "Can I send you my resume?" Yeah, go ahead. Send it to me. I guess. Well, you can check in the description of this video. There should be a link to my YouTube channel, and then from there, I have all my different social media sites there. So get in touch with me on whatever social media site, and you can send me a resume like that. Let me give you all my email. Alright, so I just put my email in the live chat. It's just jesseweigel@gmail.com. You can send me something there too. Probably through social media is more reliable because it won't accidentally end up in a spam folder or something. But if you want to email me, that's also an option. So I can't guarantee that I'll get back to you in a certain amount of time because sometimes I'm just really busy. But I will try to get back to everybody at some point. If you've asked me something in the past and I didn't get back to you, please remind me because sometimes I do get a lot of messages and things just kind of get forgotten and lost, and it takes a long time to scroll back to where that message was. So it's entirely possible that I have forgotten about answering some of you who may have asked me something, and I really don't want to do that. So so please remind me if I have done that, and if so, I apologize. Okay, so I've gone past the time that I had to be somewhere, so now I am late. So I'm gonna end now. And thank you all for watching. I should be able to stream tomorrow, so hopefully I'll be back tomorrow. And I guess we'll work on this. Probably we'll work on this component a little bit more. Yeah. So until then, have a wonderful day.